Hi folks, Sty again. Time for another Sty story. I'm sure some of you are wondering, doesn't that guy ever run out of stories to tell? No. I've always got something that I can tell you. There's always a story out there. Well, this one is a little different. This one and the next one I'm going to make pertain to dogs, okay? This one is titled, Don't Look or He'll Bite You. Yep. Don't look or he'll bite you. Okay. Have you ever seen a dog that all he cares about is whether he has the opportunity or not to bite you? Well, this story will introduce you to one. All right, this buddy of mine, many years ago, I can say that, many years ago, I would take him pheasant hunting with me quite often. And in fact, we pheasant hunted together, we squirrel hunted together, we deer hunted together. But his real passion was duck hunting. I wasn't much of a duck hunter. For one thing, duck is not my favorite dish. I don't crave duck. I'll eat duck, no problem. And especially if it's made well. But I don't go out of my way for duck. But he's of a different mindset. He loves duck, and he loves the duck hunt. Well, when we would pheasant hunt, I would usually use a Springer Spaniel. When we're pheasant hunting, cut down cornfields and tall grass, and those little Springers are just awesome at pheasant hunting. They can flush a pheasant so easy. But because I'm not a duck hunter, I wasn't much into what we called water dogs. Well, he said, you take me pheasant hunting with you all the time, and squirrel hunting, and even let me go deer hunting with you. He said, it's my turn. He says, you need to come duck hunting with me. I said, well, yeah, okay, I'll go. I said, I got the shotgun that I need. Yeah, I'll go. And now, oddly enough, as well as I in general knew this fella, I knew he had a couple of dogs, but I had never been in contact with either one of his dogs, so I didn't know what to expect when it came to his dogs. And he said, well, we're going to go duck hunting at this one farm that's got a huge slough. And it was a big farm, over 800 acres. And this slough covered probably about 25 acres. And he says, we need to use the flat bottom duck boat. He said, we'll take my pickup, he said, and we'll put all our gear in the back, the duck boat and the blind and all that stuff. And he says, and we'll shoot on out to that farm. I said, well, where's that farm? He says, well, it's about 160 miles from here. Holy smokes. We're talking three and a half hour drive if we don't stop. And he said, yeah, But he said, oh boy, he says, the duck hunting's great out there. He says, you'll love it. You'll love it. I guarantee it. And he says, and I'm bringing my best dog. He says, we won't even have to get our feet wet. He says, we get in that flat bottom boat. We get out there in the reeds. We set up our blind around the boat. And all we do is shoot ducks. And he says, that dog of mine will retrieve every single duck we drop in that slough. I thought, well, that's good. Because I ain't going swimming for no dang duck. Like I said, I don't care for duck that much. So I was starting to get a little excited. It sounded like this will be actually an easy hunt. I can sit and BS for 3 hours with him and sit and drink coffee and snack and have a smoke or two on the road and go duck hunting and not put much effort into it. So I'm all excited. He says, well, we're going to leave Saturday morning. He says, but we're leaving at about 4 o'clock in the morning. He says, we want to get there about between 7 and 8 o'clock. I said, okay, that's good. That's fine with me. And so the next morning, I hear a horn honk and could hear his truck. I scoot out the door. I got a big old cup of coffee in my hands. Imagine that. I get out to the truck. Power windows. He lowers the passenger window and yells at me, just throw your gear in the back. And he says, drop your gun in that long toolbox. He had a long toolbox that ran along the side of the truck on the inside. So I dropped my shotgun case in there, closed it, throw all my gear in the back, come around the door, and I open the door and I jump in. And he goes, don't look at me. And I turned to say something, and he goes, no, just look straight out the windshield or out your window. Don't look towards me. And I thought, and I couldn't understand what's going on. I go, what's the scoop here? Why? And he goes, you do not want to look at him or he'll bite you. I go, what? And I could tell the dog's right there, out of my peripheral. When I was getting in the truck, I realized the dog sitting between, would be between the two of us, because he's sitting up on the seat between the two of us. And I go, you got to be kidding me. And he goes, no, I'm serious. Don't look him in the eyes. He says, because if you make eye contact with you, he will bite you. He'll try to, he said, he'll snap at your face. He said, I've never seen him actually latch onto somebody's face, but he'll snap at your face. And he said, and if you keep looking at him, he'll bite you right in the shoulder or the arm, or he'll reach down and bite you in the hand, but he will bite you if you keep looking at it. Look at him. Oh, no, he don't want you looking at him. I said, you got to be crazy. And I'm not looking at that direction. I'm just saying, you got to be crazy. I got to ride over 3 hours with this killer mutt sitting right next to me. And he pulls out, and I'm already trying to think, how can I say no, just stop, let me out. I've changed my mind, I don't want to go. I just didn't have the heart to disappoint him, so I just kept my mouth shut, and we're going down the road. And I found it was tough. We're talking, and then I turned to look at him, and out of my peripheral, I'd see that dog. And I'd like, God darn it, I can't look that way, he'll bite me. You won't believe it. He said, I got to get gas after about an hour driving. He says, I got to pull into this gas station up here and get some gas. I said, oh, okay. I thought, well, I can sneak out and get another cup of coffee. So I jumped out to go get another cup of coffee. He says, be careful getting back in the truck that you don't look at the dog. I said, yeah, okay. And I get back in the truck and I'm sitting there. waiting for him to get done doing his business with getting the gas and stuff. And then I'm looking out the passenger window. I realized, oh, the big mirror's on that truck. So I reached out and I grabbed that big mirror and I turned it in. And as I turned that mirror in, I finally got a good view, profile of my head and that dog. That dang dog. He's doing this number. Right there. He's right there on the side of my head. His nose is about 2-3 inches from my ear. And he's staring at me. And he ain't blinking. He's just staring. And I can see in that mirror, he's got this look on his dog face like, look at me and I'll bite you. I could see it in him. He was gonna bite me. He wanted me to give him an excuse to bite me. I got back out of the truck. I went back in that gas station. It's like one of those quick trip kind of places. My buddy's just getting done paying for his fuel, and I yelled at him, I'll be out in the truck in just a minute. And I asked the gal at the counter, I said, do you have dog food and things like that here? And she goes, oh yeah, and it's down such aisle. So I took off down that aisle. I looked. I found the most expensive, meaty looking doggy treats you could possibly get. And I grabbed a big, it was a big pack of it. And it was like soft jerky kind of stuff. I get back to the truck and I get in that truck and I got that pouch, that bag, in a bag. We get going down the road and I'm still not looking to the left at all. And my buddy said, he says, I can't believe it. We've made it this far and that dog hasn't growled at you or tried biting you yet. I go, you said he won't bite unless I look at him. And he said, oh no, he won't. He says, but I'm surprised you managed to not look at him. He says, you're doing pretty good. Knowing. And then he complained. He goes, when you closed the door, my mirror got screwed up. Reach out there and fix that mirror. So I had to push that mirror back out. And I liked it there because I could see what that dog was doing. So what I did was I reached down, I opened that bag, opened that pouch of doggy treats, and pulled one out. And with my right hand, so that my buddy driving couldn't see what I was doing, I slowly slid that up over my shoulder and held it just a tiny piece so that there's no way, that dog's not going to take my hand with it. And I held it out. And all so lightly and gently, I could feel that dog taking it. He took it and he ate it. But I could tell, and I'm trying to sneak little peeks, he's still staring right at me while he's chewing that snack. So about every 3, 4, 5 minutes, I'd reach in that bag, pull another snack up, slip it to him. For the next hour or so, until we got to that slough, I was feeding that dog them snacks. Well, he ate about half of the pack that I had. We get there, I get out of the truck thinking, thank God I'm out of there, away from that dog. We got our gear, drug the boat out, put that in the pond, and we went out in that slough, and that dog sitting in the boat, and thank God the dog's sitting between me and my buddy, and I got my back to the dog. I don't have to look back at that dog. We get set up. Sure as heck, that slough, man, did it attract the ducks. I don't know how many ducks we dropped that day. It was so far back, I just don't recall. But I do know that he limited out, and I came within a duck or two of limiting out. And the limit was quite high at that time. Well, we get back to the truck, and I've managed to only look at that dog as it's walking away from me. One time, though, it was walking away from me, it turned, looked over his shoulder, and boy, I yanked my head away and looked the other way, and he kind of growled a little. like, I think you were looking at me. Sty, I'm gonna bite you. We get in that truck, and we start heading home. I start feeding that bugger them snacks again. But I started stretching out the amount of time between the snacks, thinking I gotta make these things last. So I stuffed the snacks kind of under the seat and figured he's not getting any more for a while. All of a sudden that dog lays down. Now mind you, all the way there, he sat upright with his face right next to my head, staring at me. All of a sudden he lays down on the front seat, turns his head and lays his head in my lap. And he's going to sleep. And my buddy said, holy moly. He said, there's no way. That dog never comes in contact with other people without biting them. I said, well, he is now. And I thought, I'm going to get brave. I'm going to get brave. And I just lightly started petting him. Back behind his head, down his neck. Slowly and lightly petting him. All of a sudden, that mean old dog. Oh, and by the way, he was a golden lab. And they're supposed to be so mild-tempered. He's the meanest golden lab in the world. No other lab is like that. Just him. And he's got brain problems. But after petting him for a few minutes, he starts snoring. Just like an old man, he's snoring. So I started petting him like I would any other dog. And he just kept sleeping away. After about 20 minutes, I'm not petting him anymore. I'm sitting with my hands folded together across my chest. He wakes up, and I'm not even thinking. And I look down at him, and he's looking right in my face. And we're making eye contact. And he gives me a big lick up my cheek. Big lick. And I thought, oh, he wants to taste me before he bites me, and I'm just nervous as could be. And then he starts nudging me with his nose and starts looking down towards the floor, and I realized what he wanted. I reached down under the seat, and it was scary because I had to get my face close to him, and I grabbed those snacks, and I gave him one of those snacks, and he sat right up, and he's staring me right inside the head again. And I thought, oh, jeez. I turned. I thought we're gonna find out, and I'm ready. I'm gonna give him a right hook. I turned and I looked at him, and he's still chewing on that snack I had handed him. And he's looking right at me, and he's got these puppy eyes, like, aren't you just the best buddy? The rest of the trip home, I could look at him, I could pet him, I could give him a snack or not give him a snack. We were buddies. But I spent a whole day exercising. Don't look at him, he's gonna bite you. So there you go. There's a dog story from Sty. My next video is going to be another dog story. So we'll catch you in that one. Hey, thanks for tagging along. And as always, you all have a very nice day. Bye-bye.